Hello everyone, this is Big Benedict. We are playing Army of Two on the hardest difficulty, and this is, it's called Professional difficulty mode, and this is the aircraft carrier stage. It's chapter 4 of 6, and what I'm going to have to do is speed up the section where I had a fight that lasted 26 minutes. The reason it lasted so long is because there's a lot of objectives. Well, I don't know if I would say that. There's just an objective where you have to interact with 4 of the planes and just disable them or something like that. And then once we land down here, you'll be in bullet time. So, just roll with how this works. And after this, you do get a checkpoint, but it's not until a long time in the future that you're going to get a checkpoint. So this is the only thing I could probably do for a section like this, which is, otherwise the video would be over 2 hours or 3 hours. I don't know. Some of these chapters, they're excruciatingly long, and I personally feel that if after the what was that? What the fuck was that? I don't think that was a death, but I could have been wrong. I'm sorry if I missed that. It's okay, but I don't think that was a death. So I didn't see the loading screen. The loading times are actually very good on this game, and just assume that whenever I say that, I always install the games onto my hard drive. I mean, why wouldn't you? You're putting it in the best place possible so that you can minimize loading. And if it loads after that, it's really on the game's fault. So what I've done is, with this 26-minute fight, I've sped it up in 2x speed. I could have done it in like 8x speed, but then it would be like 4 minutes, and it would just be going way too fast for you to see what's going on here. So with the speed at twice the normal speed rate, I could actually have a video that doesn't take so long and cause me to come back and narrate it so long. It's just the only way I can think to how to do these. And whenever I have it in this mode here, I sometimes will I will sometimes mute the audio, but not if it's a long gunfight like this. If I'm just fast forwarding a small little part where, for instance, I'm behind the riot shield or something like that, like you saw in video 1, then I will do that. So it's just I personally feel though that you should get it. There should be no more enemies after you do the objective where you're interacting with the airplanes. It's just overkill, and no pun intended, because I just realized that's what the bullet time sequence is. It's called overkill, and you just really appreciate pacing in games like The Last of Us. I don't think Gears of War has ever had enough downtime either, but I'm not grouping that game into this having downtime. There's nothing like the feeling of not having to shoot constantly than having like a lull where it's got ups and downs and there's no enemies. It's a good feeling. I can't describe it. Obviously you want to be doing all the action all the time as much as possible, but you also want periodically to not be doing what you're constantly doing. I don't know how else to explain it. But videos like this are really demanding on my ability to come up with things to say. It's like, what do I talk about? The game? I don't like to analyze every time I'm hitting an enemy. But that's where side tangents have to come into play. But honestly, I don't really have any to speak of right now. But I can give you a general overview of what this level is at first with this first part here. All it is it's a big gunfight with very little cover over here because the enemies are very aggressive, and you'll be shooting one way and they can shoot from behind you. So you're going to need to get your teammate into the aggro state so that he can be participating in the battle as much as possible and get the attention off of you as much as possible too. Now, if you want it the other way around, to where the partner is more passive and you get the aggro so that you can go into overkill and get more kills, that's another alternative. So you might periodically see me switch into the GPS mode. That's because you can, I think you can interact with the planes, but I would not interact with the planes until everything, and I mean everything, is done. However, there will be more enemies after the planes, so there will be a point at which you're free to interact with the planes without any repercussions. But then you're just going to have to realize that some of these enemies also, the spawns are just right in your face and you've got to run for it. And I knew what I was getting into. I always know what I'm getting into with games like this and games like, what was that game I covered last year? Gra 2. You know, the Gears of War games have always been easy to narrate because they're succinct levels. Like with these, they could stretch out for long periods of time, and those are the most challenging to narrate over. You know, another option could be just to say a few things and then leave the viewer to just watch the gameplay. But I hate when people do that. I can't stand it. It's like, okay, so you're leaving us? Okay, why should I even watch the rest of the video? You know? So the sniper rifle is very, very valuable here to have this thing going for you. You see how I could barely come up with anything to say? I wish I had come in here with a little bit more preparedness in mind, but there we go. There's a nice face shot for you. But I suppose I could talk about some future projects because people are usually interested in things that are coming in the future for the channel. But I'm definitely going to play the next game and probably cover it. I don't see why I wouldn't. The Devil's Cartel, though, I'd have to play it first. I'm a little wary of that game based on some consistent negative reviews of it from sources that I watch and respect most of the time. However, I don't even know where I was going with that. But it can be dispiriting quite a bit, especially when I know for certain that these videos, with no demand for them, and even if there were, even if there was, I think it is were, even if there were a demand for it, I wouldn't get any views because I don't know how to get views. It's pretty clear that I don't know how to get views. Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe many of the people who see me don't like my persona, so they don't subscribe. But that would fly in the face of the fact that I would have to be getting those views for people to watch my videos. That would count as views, unique views. You know, they only count one view from an IP address. So it's not that I think it's less about that people don't like me and don't like my persona, and maybe you're jealous that I'm pretty damn good at games. I've been playing them all my life, pretty much. I mean, with periods of there is a period probably between 2000 until 2000 and was it 8 years that I wasn't playing games? I think there was a long period, like 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 years, where I was not playing games. But as a teenager, I was constantly playing games, and I started playing games back in 2008. So I've fallen back in love with them, but I want to go back to this views. So I know that these videos won't get very many views whatsoever. It's saddening, but I wouldn't be doing this and persevering if I wasn't enjoying it. If I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't make any of these videos. You've got to keep persevering and keep building up the numbers. You know, I guess I don't know what my problem is exactly. Maybe it's probably because I don't diversify enough and don't cover new content enough. But quite honestly, if something is new, I don't just play it. It has to be something that I want to play. Like, I can't remember any times recently that there's been something I've been excited for that's coming out new. Like God of War Ascension was one of the last times. Lords of Shadow 2 as well. But I don't know. I put in the titles, I put in the descriptions, I put in the tags. I put in the tags in, what I was saying was, I put the tags in the tags field. I don't put the tags in the description field because that's cheap as shit. And people who do that should automatically get punished somehow, but it's hard to monitor that. But anyway, so yeah, I do all the protocol, and there's nothing really more to do except take my own life. No, just kidding. I don't know. It is depressing, but the thing is, I'm enjoying playing these games and I'm enjoying sharing my experiences. So, you know, and I get paid for it. It's not very much, but it's enough to. Well, it's not enough, but it you know, you can't make a lot of money on here anyway. If you are making a lot of money on here, you're probably somebody who I don't even like, because it's, I don't know. The best channels are the smaller ones. It's pretty obvious about that. There's no need to even name any names about these larger channels. It is and forever always will be unfair, but so is life, and I just don't dwell on it too much. And I'm not trying to elicit anybody's pity too. Please don't, don't try to. You could offer criticism or whatever, or suggestions about how the channel could be broadcasted more or advertised more. Okay, so this spawn here is pretty close. Just run back all the way here. But don't worry, I didn't want to start this video off negatively or in a depressing overtone. Not at all. I just wanted to say that I know this game is not in high demand, but it's currently something that I'm enjoying to play and to share. So, and I know that my content brings joy and entertainment to other people, and as long as they're enjoying it, I'm happy. And there's also a cathartic element to talking in the microphone, to within reason, rant and kind of unburden yourself vocally with things that are bothering you sometimes. So it's a good avenue. It's difficult to do. Definitely takes a lot of practice and learning how to do it, and I'm not the best at it for sure. So as you can see, like this whole time, no checkpoint, none that I saw anyway. And I wasn't going to dare to even allow myself to make a single mistake over here. So anyway, this area is almost done. Our goal is actually, I believe that you may have seen the hangar bay door glowing green. I think we were denied access to it, but we are going to. One of our goals here is to speak to the captain. So I think I'm going to ask my partner to reconvene over here, and we're going to take down the last couple of guys. Just be careful. It's hard to hit them when they're when they themselves are blind firing. I've noticed that. So I think this is the last guy. Then we'll go down. I'm sorry that was sped up, but it won't happen all the time. Just times when I actually need to do that for conciseness. Okay, where were we? This part here. You're gonna grab the riot shield, and to be honest, I don't really think it matters where you aim the camera, because it doesn't seem like your AI partner does too much differently. So I just wanted to say that, just to spare you guys the hassle of having to do this too much. But I wish a couple of things. I wish that you can also, I wish the partner would hold the shield from time to time, and I also wish that when you're dragging the partner to safety, he never shoots. He never tries to shoot the enemies, which is what you're supposed to do, what you're taught to do, to keep the enemy fire off you while your partner's trying to revive you. But I don't know why they do that. It doesn't help out the situation at all. So you've really got to keep the partner in a passive role for a lot of sequences in this game. But this was a cutscene here with two of the enemies, the antagonists in the middle of the room on the computer. You just need to pull the flash drive out of the computer once you clear all these enemies out. And you'll excuse me while I get some water and some medicine. But yeah, I need to take Mucinex every day because I get really congested and I need to drain my sinuses as much as possible. That stuff works really well, like the best stuff I think that exists for that. It's an expectorant. But I hope I didn't make anybody think that I was an asshole in the previous video when I was talking about the guy in the opera program and also Terry Gross, the anchor of Fresh Air on NPR. I used to listen to Fresh Air when I was in college, and I still listen to the opera program, but the thing is, it could have come off as a dick move, and I'm sorry about that. If you know, sometimes a joke goes overboard. Obviously, those two people are never going to see it, but it doesn't. I really don't like to do that kind of stuff too much, but occasionally here and there, just for humor, and I just try to play it safe when I do that stuff, because I just don't like looking like a jerk or an asshole. So, you know, if you thought that was a dick move, I also kind of thought it was too. So I just wanted to say that I'm not like that in real life, but sometimes, you know, I thought I could do something a little funny, and I don't know, if it makes me laugh, I think it might make others laugh. So this chapter is actually shorter than I thought. It's clocking at a little under 45 minutes. I'm recording this in the morning, having slept. I slept 5 hours, but it was deep and refreshing sleep. So enemies up here. I think they killed me. Yep, they killed me. And I also have some qualms about using the heavy body armor. I equipped it in the previous game, in the previous contractor mode, and I've just kept it on. I don't know. The enemies, I think the enemies get more body armor too, so it's an even match. So don't think that the difficulty is being negated by that at all. I very frequently drop in combat, but it's not. I can't control anything about the partner being able to save you. It's part of the game mechanic. I mean, it's the main game mechanic in this game because it's a co-op experience. But we're obviously playing with the computer, which is actually not bad at all, in my opinion. It works well. I just don't find any enjoyment in playing with other people, not in real life, or even more relevant these days online. I just don't even. I don't want to, and have no interest in it. Like I've said many times before. I think that's because I'm a private person and I just like to have experiences that are my own. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just me. Huh. I got a message from Johannes Krober saying that there is a free veteran map pack, which is single player, because I asked him. He's a subscriber of this channel, very good subscriber, and apparently there's an alternate ending and a mission in Kiev or Kiev, however you say that. So I'll look into that definitely, because there's only 2 chapters after this one, but I do want to play the 40th day. But I don't know if I'm going to cover it. I probably will, but I just don't want to say I will and then not cover it if I see something else that's good. But that's not going to be very likely with the selection of games out there. I mean, I just have very specific things that I'm looking for. I used to actually really enjoy side-scrolling games. Like on my other channel, I had a lot of Castlevania stuff, like Castlevania 1, Castlevania 3, Contra Shattered Soldier, where I got the S rank on. That's the only time I really cared about getting an S rank. The S rank, which is pretty much no death, which was something that I had to do for a long time to get that going. And but that channel no longer exists because I had 2 channels and I just wanted to have everything merge into one channel, but YouTube doesn't do that. So I took down the channel that just had all the videos with no commentary, and I started over 2 years ago. But I think the hardest side-scrolling game that I've ever played, and the one that I'm most proud of, I could actually all those videos. I think I have like over 1,000, maybe like 800 videos on my other channel. The one that I'm most sorry, I was even losing the train of thought there. If I deleted that channel, but I could log into my channel again with my username, and I could reinstate all those videos. So they're not permanently deleted, I found out. So, and I don't save my file. I used to save my files, but I don't anymore. But the side-scrolling game that I was most proud of forever defeating is Castlevania Rebirth for the Wii on hard difficulty. That game, it is so demanding on your reflexes, and it's so great of a game. Like, I didn't think it was very good at first, but my brother introduced me to it, and he didn't beat it on hard. But man, that fucking hard it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. But that game does work really well. It's a fantastic game for a new kind of Castlevania game. But I love that game so much. I never thought I would either.
Stay close, man. I got you, Tyson.
I also used to like playing side-scrolling shooters like Contra. I mentioned I played Shattered Soldier. personally think that Castlevania Rebirth on hard is more challenging than Castlevania 3 is. And obviously, you know that Castlevania 3 has no difficulty. It's just a very difficult game, and I've beaten all the scenarios with the different characters and the branching forks and the roads that you can take with the different characters. But yeah, I used to really enjoy the side-scrolling whipping games and shooting games, but I just don't really enjoy those anymore. So I just like this kind of immersion with this type of game.
Get over here. Okay, you got it.
But I still do look back on those games, and I never thought I would beat Castlevania Rebirth on hard. It is it's just astounding how difficult that is. So here's a checkpoint. You're thrust into a situation where just a bunch of enemies are jumping into this area here. As a level, I don't really like this stage too much. I like the next stage better, China, just because of the different environments. But I don't recall liking the boat section where you're in the boat. It's not hard. It's just very boring. And so I looked at my total count of videos. I think somebody recently was it was Reuta, good old Reuta 15, the Vanquish god, who could beat Vanquish on very hard mode like it's nothing. But yeah, he was saying something, some comment, and it was just in passing that he kind of remarked that I've made over 1,000 videos, and I have. With my other channel, I made like 800 videos, so I've made nearly 2,000 videos, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, some of my videos, they're almost like, some of my videos are over an hour, so it's not like I'm just putting out videos that are 8 to 12 minutes. I put out very long videos. I wonder if you can see the total length of all your video time in YouTube somewhere. You might be able to, but it might not look like I have a lot of videos. But hell, 1,000. I have nearly 1,100 videos, and none of them are anything that is other than a video in a guide. I have no stray. I used to have stray videos, but I don't like to do that anymore. I'm just very anal about it. Like, I'll never have a channel update video or anything. It has to be in a playlist, like for a video guide. And maybe that's my channel's downfall, like I was talking about earlier. You know, what am I doing right? But some people like me are just really stubborn about doing things. If you want to know about the channel and stuff, just look at my Twitter account, because I'm on there I'm on there on my phone quite a lot. I never use the web page on the internet. But yeah, you guys, Reuta 15 is a really good subscriber. He's a caring guy, and he's a good player of games, and we share a lot of interests. So, you know, I would show your support to that guy's channel if I were you. You know, just go over there. And I think at one point he told me he was planning to do Vanquish with just the shotgun, and I'm positive he could do that, because he introduced me to Vanquish. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I knew who he was, and I saw his stuff on his channel. And he doesn't have a guide for it finished, but I've just seen the level that he plays at. You know, he could easily beat that game. So, just to, you know, if I had to recommend other people, definitely you know, like him, Seraphim 17, other people that I watch. But the Seraphim 17, he already has quite a lot of subscribers, so you know, he's doing stuff right. I don't know, but yeah, I just wish these other smaller channels had more attention and as well. So.
Salem, stop right there. It's cool, Tice. I got you covered.
And who else? Kokoro Master's been responding to some of my videos, of my Ninja Gaiden 2 videos. I just I was talking to him and about the blood gouges in Ninja Gaiden 2 and Sigma 2, and I thought he was going to do a live run, but he's pretty much sticking to Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, and he's covering that game more extensively than anyone I've ever seen. So if you need a guide for that game, he has a wide selection, very wide selection. So his is another channel that's good too. So here's the unskippable cutscene with the captain, and now we're gonna head on down here. There's a couple of edits over here because evidently Pedro was killed over here, and it was one of their friends. So I'm trying to make this guide as enjoyable as possible as well. So the thing is, with that, it goes hand in hand. Like, you know, I need to be telling you guys how to do stuff, but I pretty much have said most of the things that you need to know. Like the riot shield, we've already discussed the riot shield. You know what it is, things like that, and. Ever since I saw Rhyme's guide for Ninja Gaiden 2, I've always have high expectations for people to make guides, and you know, if I really wish he was more prolific on YouTube, but I don't know. I'd like to know more about that guy. But when I think of, you know, when I think to myself, like when I'm just starting to play a game like this game, for instance, and I'm thinking to myself, how do I play this game? I just wish that I could find guides that were as good for helping me beat games like his Ninja Gaiden 2 game was so instrumental in helping me beat Ninja Gaiden 2. And just because I needed to use his guide doesn't mean, I don't think it diminishes the value of my guides whatsoever, because I was very well aware of the Ninja Gaiden world, Ninja Gaiden Sigma world, when I played Ninja Gaiden 2, but having never played that game, it was kind of shocking to see all of the original things that were in that game. So I did, from time to time, I was looking at his guide to see what he was doing to deal with some of the seemingly overwhelming challenges in that game. But it's a lot of it is about confidence, and I get so many people arguing with me, saying, "Oh, you're wrong for thinking Sigma 2 is hard." But when I finished my Ninja Gaiden 2 guide like last week, I popped in Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and two things were immediately apparent. Sigma 2 is much more beautiful. It is gorgeous, jaw-droppingly gorgeous. It runs at 60 frames a second. It's mesmerizing to look at, and you could just tell. You could tell there. It's twice the frame rate that Ninja Gaiden 2 is. But I don't like playing that. I like playing Ninja Gaiden 2 better. But I'm just saying that one is obviously the visual superior, which is Sigma 2, and another thing was apparent. There's no way in hell that I'll ever think that Ninja Gaiden 2 is harder, because I got grabbed by, I got grabbed by a mage. I was at full health, and it killed me. That never happens on Ninja Gaiden 2. And that is the reason I will always think that that game is harder. Plus, I don't think there's... one of the hardest situations in Sigma 2 is the Alexei fight, followed by that stupid Statue of Liberty fight, where you'll probably use all of your items on Alexei, or if you do, I mean, if you don't, then you're pretty damn good, but if you... I mean, there's been times when I've saved a couple of items after that fight, but still, I don't even think they refill you. No, I'm certain they don't fill your health up after Alexei, and you have to do the Statue of Liberty fight, and they pretty much say, fuck you, whatever you have, that's what you have to beat. If you have half your if you have half life, beat it with half life and no items on a fight that it's just a bunch of spamming of projectiles and having to evade and getting grabbed and shit. It's so god awful. And the Tengu brothers, give me a break with that, with the grab shit that they do. Instant death, constant instant death with grabs and stuff. You also saw the fall damage. There's fall damage in this game too, so watch out for that. Okay, so there's a checkpoint here, and when you open the door, you wanna roll to the left so that guy doesn't hit you with a rocket launcher, or you can simply just backtrack. But you're gonna have to deal with him. He doesn't advance though. Only these Navy SEALs here will. I think they're I think the Navy SEALs were killed. These guys are just regular lackeys, but you'll have to kill the heavy. But fortunately, he doesn't advance. It's always pretty scary when a heavy advances, especially in Spec Ops: The Line. Those were always pretty scary sequences. Although, like, one of the tricks that you can do on those guys is just to have them walk into a section of a platform where they keep trying to walk, but they don't go around it for some reason. They keep walking in a straight line, sort of like Ram at the end of Gears of War. And I'll never forget that fight because it was so fucking hard on Insane that I had to look on wikigameguides.com and see how John Tarr was doing it. And he was doing this little exploit that I had to end up using because it was so maddening to beat that. And then I got so many comments on my other channel about, oh, you took the easy way out. You know, how could you even put this out there for people to watch? And it does make you feel kind of guilty. You know, it does. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, damn, I never really thought that people would be so offended by that. And you know what? Come to think of it, it is kind of cheap, and maybe I did take the easy way out on that. But it's not easy. That's the thing. It's still hard to make that work. That I don't know if you would call it an exploit. But the Gears of War games need to fix these final bosses. You know, it's either they don't have one or it's inordinately difficult and unfair. Every single fucking time. You take General Ram in Gears of War. You take Queen Mira in Gears of War 3, and then you take whatever that thing was in Gears of War Judgment, and then in Gears of War 2, no final boss except there's like a sequence with a Brumac. But I don't know.
It's good to have you back.
But it looks like we are. Let me get some more water. It looks like we are getting more Gears of War, but we're gonna have to wait a long time. It's just that we're gonna have to wait a long time for games to come out that are the ones we're wanting, like, you know, Uncharted 4 and everything. You know, it's not going to be until another 2 years until Uncharted 4 comes out, and that's really depressing that it takes that long. I mean, I don't know how they managed to do a 2-year production cycle in between every Uncharted, but now from 3 to 4 it takes like 4 years. I think it was 4 years. I calculated it, and I was talking about it in one of my other videos, my Devil May Cry 3 video on the Beowulf stage. I think that's where I was talking about it. I'm pretty sure. But, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think 4 years is much too long to wait for a game.
Oh, shit. Didn't know you cared, Elliot. I got you, Tice.
But I guess they're having internal problems over there, or struggles.
Advance, Elliot. Hell yeah.
Okay, so now we're dealing with the heavy over here. And we need to bring Salem over here so that we can get this guy tackled. Some of these situations are difficult just because of where the heavy-duty enemy is placed. For instance, here I really needed to get Salem on the high end, on the far end, excuse me, of the aggro meter. So we need to keep him firing, and then once we're translucent, we need to sneak over here as best we can. And like I mentioned before, you know, if you can't hit him in the back, just try to hit him on the side or near his back as best you can. And we're almost going to be done with this level after this.
We gotta sneak up behind this guy.
But the next 2 levels are very, very long levels. Okay, I think he drops right over here. Okay, good. The wall armor terrorist. Okay, there's one more objective over here. I think I added this cutscene now for everybody, and I don't think there's any more enemies left in the stage except on the runway. Excuse me, I was groping for that word.
I'll help you up.
To be able to pull up, since there's no prompt on the screen, you just press up and A in the general area of that part, and we're just going to be running to the other side, getting on the little boat and heading over to China. You see, I'm pretty tentative over here because I didn't see a checkpoint and I couldn't remember if there were more enemies. But just go up to that gate right there, and then there will be a cutscene, and then we'll just be running forward here. I did get an achievement over here, but I did die here. I think I died or I restarted, but it said mission 4 completed. So I think I've already completed this stage on the lower difficulty, so I believe you're getting the achievement for completing it on this difficulty mode. But I didn't see that pop up for the previous stage, so maybe they give you one for like beating chapter 4, like 4 forward, something like that. But you'll have to kill the few enemies on here. You can't tell your partner what to do over here with the that guy went fucking flying. Wow. And I just got knocked over there, didn't die. But yeah, also let me know in the comments if you would prefer when I do fall down in combat, if you want me to edit that out, because I can easily edit it out if people don't want to suffer through that. Wow, it's pretty embarrassing, but he falls like a sack all over the place here. Yeah, I can easily edit those out, but it might lose. It might the cohesive structure of the video might suffer because of that, because up until the point where I get revived, I'll be in a different area. So I ended up going. You just want to take a right over here. I didn't know where to go. I thought I was going to restart this level over here, but that's it. We'll be in China.